Hello and welcome to Clearview Television. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines. Mixed reactions greet call-off of 8-month-old ASU strike. Yola Federal High Court nullifies All Progressives Congress governorship primary. I am Gloria Atta with these and more. Welcome. The news of the conditional suspension of 8-month strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU elicited mixed reactions from Nigerians across all stratas, especially students. In this report, Clearview Television crew spoke to some Nigerians on the streets of Abuja, the nation's capital, to feel their pulses on the burning issue. It has been 8 months, precisely the 14th of February, since the Academic Staff Union of Universities ASU embarked on a nationwide strike across public tertiary institutions in Nigeria. After a series of meetings and negotiations, the group, through a National Executive Committee member, confirmed to newsmen that the strike has been called off. ASU decided to suspend the strike during a meeting of its leadership that started on Thursday night and lasted into the early hours of Friday. The state branches of the union met over the Court of Appeal ruling last week, following which members voted to conditionally suspend the strike. The Court of Appeal had issued an order to ASU to suspend the strike before its appeal of the ruling, ordering lecturers to resume work could be heard. The latest development has generated mixed reactions from Nigerians. While many are celebrating that students can now return to their classes to continue academic activities, the worry among others is the devastating consequences it leaves on the quality of the education sector.
It's good so that our children can go back to school, because for some time now they have been at home doing nothing. And because of the strike, many of them have involved themselves on various arts. Going back to school, we enable them to continue with their study. And some of them finish their courses they have been studying for some time now.
I was quite delighted to hear that ASU has called off the strike, because I'm going to be able to resume school, and I think that's it for it. I'm happy to resume school.
We are all happy that ASU have called off and ended the strike. At least it will relieve everybody. But every other thing between ASU and government, I don't know. It is only God that can fix that.
If you've been patient enough to wait for 8 good months because your requests were not met, why would you just call it off? Probably because you are coerced by the courts. I feel ASU and their leadership have not done well calling it off like that, because they had the purpose for going off. And if after 8 months that purpose was not met and you are coming back again, then it's a wasted 8 months.
How then can strikes action, which has gradually become a part of Nigeria's educational system, be addressed?
The strike have affected both the academic and non-academic staff. People that are even selling around, those vendors too. So the thing have also affected them. But I will subscribe that the government should listen to ASU. Because ASU is not fighting for themselves, it's fighting for all the masses. They should listen to them and do the needful, so that this long and continuous strike will be the things of the past.
Well, if you ask me too, one of the reasons why the educational sector is not working is because those in authority, most of them, their children are not here. Yes, they're school out. We see pictures of them going to celebrate matriculations and graduations. Why would it work when our educational system back home is not working and their children are there? If there's some kind of policy somehow, I don't know how it will be coined, that will restrict our public office holders from a certain level from sending their children abroad to school, I tell you, our educational system will work. Apply such principle even to our health institutions, it will work. So we need a policy to restrict those in office from taking their children out. Let them concentrate and make things work here, and you will see.
Strike cannot end. Strike happens everywhere in the world. The problem is our strike in Nigeria stays long. Strike cannot end. You can't stop strike. Strike happens in the Western country everywhere. The problem is that our government should respond to people who go on strike on time. so that they can return to school. The only way to reduce the period of our strike in Nigeria is for the government to respond to any union that is striking. That's the only solution. But you can't stop strike, because definitely there will be issues that needed to be resolved. The only language that the government will understand is for people to go on strike. Sometimes there are issues the government may not be aware of. The only way they can be aware of is for the union to go on strike. So when they go on strike, they get to know, they protest, go on strike, do warning strike. You understand? Protest. Then the government will know that these people actually need to be responded to.
Although students are expected to resume classes on Monday, 17th October 2022, the general expectation is that at the end of the day, it should be a win-win situation for the Nigerian government, ASUU, and the students. The federal government on Thursday gave an indication that it will approach the Supreme Court to challenge the Court of Appeal judgments that quashed the terrorism charge it preferred against the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. Reacting to the judgment, federal government, through the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami San, contended that Kanu was merely discharged by the appellate court and not acquitted. Malami, while insisting that issues that predated Kanu's rendition from Kenya are yet to be determined by the court, said the government would exploit the appropriate legal options and also communicate same to the public. Meanwhile, Nnamdi Kanu's counsel, Mike Ozekume, reacted to the victory at the court.
There was one fundamental issue on which the court today anchored its judgment, this intermediate court. And that is that the lower court never evaluated the mountain of evidence placed before it regarding the forceful capture, kidnap, torture, and extraordinary rendition of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya back to Nigeria on the 26th of June, 2021.
A federal high court sitting in Yola has nullified the All Progressives Congress APC primary that produced Senator Aishatu Binani as the party's governorship candidate for Adamawa State. In an over 3-hour judgment delivered by Justice Abdulaziz Anka this Friday, the court declares that the judgment is based on substantial evidence of non-compliance with the party guidelines and that of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Nuhu Ribadu, who came second during the exercise, had dragged Binani, the APC, and INEC before the High Court, seeking the nullification of the primary election conducted on 27th May 2022. He sought the disqualification of Senator Binani over alleged vote buying and an illegal delegates list from Lamurde local government area of the state. According to him, the primary witnessed overvoting as a result of fielding candidates from Lamurde Council, and there was no record of Congress that produced delegates for the gubernatorial exercise where Senator Binani emerged as the party's flag bearer. The court declared that there will be no candidates for the APC in the state for the 2023 elections, but said both petitioner and defendants are free to appeal the ruling. Counsel to Nuhu Ribadu and Senator Binani, in their reactions, promised to study the ruling. President Muhammadu Buhari has appealed to member states of the Gulf of Guinea Commission to be committed and always remit their outstanding annual contributions to the Secretariat, as non-payment by the majority has greatly affected the ability of the Commission to fulfill the mandate for which it was established. The President made the appeal in a virtual meeting of the heads of state and government of member states convened to review progress on efforts to deal with maritime challenges in the region.
Nigeria has continued to deploy significant resources towards tackling piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. Through the Deep Blue Project in June 2021, the government of Nigeria unveiled 195 million United States dollars worth of boats, vehicles, and aircraft to spearhead the country's fight against piracy in the Gulf of Guinea. What we need now is to work more than ever towards the revitalization of the organization by holding regular meetings and summits of the Commission.
The President also expressed for the support from all member states during his tenure as chair of the Assembly of Heads of State and Government of the Commission. The Nigerian leader congratulated Ambassador Florentina Okonga, the Executive Secretary of the GGC, and her team for their hard work and commitment to the organization. Preparations are in top gear by the Nigerian government to participate actively in the Conference of Parties COP27 to the United Nations on Climate Change billed for Sharm el-Sheikh in Egypt between 6 to 18 November 2022. Minister of Environment Mohamed Abdullahi said the UN Conference of Parties is part of measures aimed at addressing the negative impact of climate change around the world, especially flooding. The minister made this known to newsmen in a press briefing this Friday in Abuja, the Nigerian capital. Clearview TV's Imefon Okon has the details.
Addressing the media on the level of preparedness to participate in the COP27 conference in Egypt, the Minister of Environment, Mohamed Abdullahi, said the conference will create an ample opportunity for the Nigerian government to exchange ideas with other world leaders with the aim of tackling climate change around the globe.
On the part of the government of Nigeria, we will participate in a world leader summit with other nations to co-launch the Forest and Climate Leaders Partnership, being championed by the UK government through Alan Sharma, MP, the President of COP26. Nigeria will also, under the auspices of the United Nations Convention to provide certification, and as the current chair of the Conference of Heads of States and Governments of Member States of the Pan-African Union, host a high-level side meeting as a follow-up to President Muhammadu Buhari's meeting at the UNCCD COP50 meeting in Abidjan.
The minister also noted that the conference will avail opportunity for Nigerian delegates to hold bilateral meetings with world leaders with the aim of attracting potential investors into the country.
We are going to have the Nigerian pavilion at COP27. At the COP27 venue. The pavilion will serve as a base for hosting all activities by the Nigerian delegation during the conference. Hold bilateral meetings and will provide a place for networking with potential investors and related opportunities for Nigerians.
It may interest you to know that the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change 2022 report released earlier this year warns that going by current trends, by year 2030, about 250 million people may experience water stress in Africa, with 700 million displaced, which is half of the current 1.4 billion population of Africa. Imefon Okon, reporting for Clearview Television.
A 67-year-old man, Ibrahim Ado, locked up in a room for over 20 years in Kaduna, has been discovered by environmental health officers of the Kaduna North Local Government Area, who were in the house on official duty. The State Police Command spokesman, DSP Mohammed Jalige, confirmed the story. According to him, the man was found naked and locked up in a room at a house located in Bayajida Road in Kaduna. Residents of the building fled when a police team arrived at the house.
When we went to the scene, we found the man naked, without wearing any clothes. We gave him clothes to wear, we brought him out, and is here in the hospital for medical evaluation. We were made to understand he has children and a wife, but they were nowhere to be found. So as investigation is ongoing, the people we got in the compound and the neighboring houses, I believe, will assist the police in getting the true positions of the whole scenario.
Nigerians are eagerly waiting to know the mystery surrounding the lockup. And if you are just joining us, you're watching the news on Clearview television. When we come back, we bring you stories on women and children. Stay with us.
Listen to this truth.
Hello and welcome to Clearview television.
We are inviting you to advertise your goods and services with us at incredibly low rates. And do you have news for us? Script or video, please contact us through our email address, clearviewnewsroom@gmail.com or WhatsApp line 080-650-30-300. Again, 080-650-30-300.
Hello and welcome to Clearview television.
Hello and welcome to Clearview television.
Hello and welcome to Clearview television.
Welcome on board.
Welcome back. A neighbor of the late gospel singer Osinachi, Grace Nnaji, on Thursday told a Federal Capital Territory court in Abuja that the singer on many occasions begged her not to report her husband, Peter Nwachukwu's abuse. Nnaji, a tailor, told the court that she met the singer when her husband approached her to make a dress for her. While giving her testimony led by the prosecution counsel, Aderonke Imana, she said she became close to the deceased at her Akko estate, Airport Road, Lugbe. She said the deceased confided in her that the defendant was always hitting her at the slightest provocation. She further said the defendant was in the habit of locking his wife out whenever she went to church, and she would be at the gate knocking for hours. She said at times it would take the intervention of neighbors before she would be allowed in, and that she slept in her house for 2 days on one of the occasions that he refused to allow her into the house. An Iyaganku Chief Magistrates Court in Ibadan on Thursday remanded a 27-year-old man, Oladotun Wahab, in a correctional center for allegedly raping a 70-year-old woman in his neighborhood. The police charged Wahab with rape and robbery. The Chief Magistrate, Emmanuel Idowu, who did not take the plea of Mr. Wahab for want of jurisdiction, ordered his remand in Abolongo Correctional Facility, Oyo Town. Idowu gave the order pending the outcome of the case file at the Oyo State Directorate of Public Prosecution. He adjourned the matter until 15 December for mention. A 40-year-old woman, Folashade Badejo, has been allegedly killed by her husband, Oluronti Badejo, at their house in Mowe in Obafemi Owode local government area of Ogun State. Reports say Folashade, a fashion designer, on Wednesday got into an argument with her husband over the payment of their 3 children's school fees, and the argument was said to have degenerated into fisticuffs as 51-year-old Oluronti allegedly smashed Folashade's head against the wall of their apartment. Their 8-year-old daughter, Jumoke, reportedly said her father abandoned her mother on the floor as she writhed in pain. The suspect was alleged to have subsequently burnt her corpse with a hot iron. High cost of living, increase in unemployment rates have been identified as some of the major challenges causing setbacks to the growth of Nigeria's economy. While some Nigerians are engrossed complaining about the difficult economic situation, Justina Atabo is one among many that have singled herself out and dared to go into a man's world. She decided to launch out and ventured into commercial bike riding to make ends meet, and behold, she is making a breakthrough. Clearview TV's Samson Orimoloye had a one-on-one with her in Abuja suburb of Gwagwalape. The report.
With the present economic challenges and untold hardship in the land, it has become imperative for the citizens to ensure they live within their means. Justina Atabo, an NCE graduate, is one out of many unemployed youths advocating for a positive change in the country. She wants government to come up with economic policies that will make life bearable for the ordinary citizens. Justina is not deterred. She keeps her focus straight and her shoulders high while operating a commercial motorcycle.
I decided to join the men to see if I can be able to support my husband. So that is a drive. To be supportive is a drive. I don't mostly like to be a liability mostly. So I decided to do what men are doing to also see what they are feeling sometimes. Because when your husband bring 2,000 naira, you will be like, since morning you have been on the road. But I think joining him on the road makes me to know what they are passing through as Okada on the road.
The Igala-born graduate highlights some of the challenges she faced being a woman in a man-dominated kind of business and called on government, non-governmental organizations, and public-spirited individuals to fashion out ways of giving a helping hand to business-oriented persons.
Being a woman, sometimes people will not want to enter my bike. You know, I have to convince them that I can drive, I can ride before they can be able to enter. So it's one of my challenge, and sometimes people will be laughing at you. Who do you see doing this thing in this place? So it's a challenge on the job. Then we have bad roads. You know, this road you are seeing sometimes give us issue before you know the bike will be spoiling because of the bad road. And the machine parts are very costly now. Even the money for ticket has increased. As I'm talking to you, ticket is no longer the way it used to be. Because they say there is high rate in dollars, so even ticket has added money. And you are not even seeing the effect of what they are collecting that money to do. So if federal government will give rooms, what you study, what you learn, the kind of school you go, like as an NC student now, as an NC graduate now, you're supposed to be in the classroom to assist the children to be educated. But look at me on the road doing this work. So let there be a provision of employment.
Ladies like Justina easily get patronage to encourage her, just as many believe that if there are enough job opportunities, there will be lesser crime rates amongst the youths.
I choose to enter our own just to encourage her. For a woman to be doing this kind of job, it's not easy. So it's left for us to show her, give her encouragement, and then so that, because it's not easy for a woman to be doing this kind of job, and for her to choose, not to choose any other way around, we just need to encourage her.
Majority of the ladies are being in Okada in the street, just right now, if I'm not mistaken, majority of them are graduates. And our leader cannot even afford to provide job youth for the youth and make them to satisfy themselves. As even see some of them, they are on the road, they are driving Okada. It's not their happiness. Why? That is why we have a president, we have a senator, we have a half of rep, we have a councillor.
As Nigerians grapple with unemployment and high crime rates, observers believe that good governance is not just the product of the power play between elected officials, but a combination of inputs from every well-meaning citizens. Samson Ovimoloye reporting for Clearview TV.
And that's the news. But before we go, a recap of the top stories. Mixed reactions have greeted the suspension of 8th-month strike by the Academic Staff Union of Universities. Clearview television crew spoke to some Nigerians on the streets of Abuja, the nation's capital, to feel their pulse on the burning issue. A federal high court sitting in Yola this Friday nullified the All Progressives Congress APC primary that produced Senator Aishatu Binani as the party's governorship candidate for Adamawa State. Former EFCC boss Nuhu Ribadu, who came second during the exercise, had dragged Binani, the APC and INEC before the High Court, seeking the nullification of the primary election conducted on 27 May 2022. Remember to like us on Facebook, Clearview Television. Follow us on Twitter at Clearview TV. Follow us on Instagram at ClearviewTV_NG. And also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Clearview TV. Many thanks for watching. I am Gloria Atta saying have a lovely weekend.